Hello, 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 hello. Welcome to the program. Hello, our 40th episode. And when we started this podcast, I did not think we'd find ourselves creating so many episodes. And I certainly didn't think we'd be locked down, forbidden to go to the pub, which for many is horror, as is self-isolation with our families, which is obviously a mixed blessing. As well as being our 40th show, my colleague Simon celebrated his birthday last week. 21 again, Simon. 21 again.
Yep. Once again.
Yes. Which, just let me turn the music down. And of course, I bought my birthday hat for you. I didn't bring you any cake because as we're self-isolating. But if I can sing happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, I'll do it in the Asian way. Happy birthday, as if I don't know you. Happy birthday to you. If you'd just like to blow out the... brilliant.
Have a bit of COVID-19.
Don't tell me what you wished for either. We don't want to know what you wished for. It would probably start with blow and end with job. Okay, yeah. So the upside of coronavirus, as we like to call it, can I take this off now?
Yes.
It's ruining the wig. Or as we like to call it on the show, Cortina 19, is that it's really created a lot more foot traffic for us listening to our podcast. By which means things must have really got bad, dear listener. They really have got bad. We've just been found out today, in the last hour or so, that it's another 3 weeks lockdown for us here in the UK. Yeah. And I gather you're all out there totally climbing the walls. Well, fear not. We've got plenty of stuff to entertain you this week. And as you see, you actually get to see us in person. It's not pretty.
Oh, no.
Not pretty, but what you could do is just listen to this as opposed to looking at our ugly mugs. But yeah, I'm afraid you've got us. I've even got a clapperboard for the show, Simon. Look, our 40th, which is going to be back to front.
No expense spared.
Nicked from a skip in Ealing Studios. Where I used to work, and I don't work there anymore. Yeah, plenty coming up on the show. We've got all the tomorrow's chip wrappings in the news. We've got a couple of amazing drives in Lost Highways. I have a superb classic car for you as well in our classic car selection. This week is a small Italian superb car, and it's a truly underrated one. And it's totally not appreciated outside Italy. So I say "Si grazie" to the Pininfarina designed Fiat 124 Sport Spider. And of course, as we all know, the acronym for Fiat is Fix It Again, Tony.
Hang on, that's another Italian.
I know, I've been obsessed with Italian cars. I don't know why. Maybe it's because there's been sunshine.
Rust. Did anyone say rust?
Oh, they go in England. They just rust from the... They used to rust from the outside in, and then Fiat started galvanizing cars. So my cousin had a H-Reg, which is 1990 Fiat Panda. So it didn't rust from the outside in, but they didn't galvanize the inside. So it rusted from inside the doors out. Truly great build quality, but it's a classic Fiat that they produced for nearly 20 years. So you wait with bated breath on that.
Fantastic. Si grazie, Riccardo. You have to do the hand movements. So you can see the hand movements.
Really racist.
Yes, of course, you're doing your bit for European harmony just at a time when we need to be banding together. Yes, as Rich said, we have got such a great show this week. We'll be answering your questions and queries in the mailbag as per usual. It's overflowing. And I should be done in the red velvet and be the question master for the program quiz, which this week is based on blockbusters. With a difference.
You have to explain to global listeners what Blockbusters was. Was it a thing?
It was presented by a slightly racist presenter, and you had to guess what all the words were.
Yes.
Using letters.
I can hardly wait.
So sit back, relax. Don't socially isolate yourself. Just from the general public, that's what you got to do, not the rest of your family, and enjoy the show. I am Simon Sujuwan, and I thought this was a different song, first of all.
Did you look it up on the internet?
I never needed anyone, and making love was just for fun. Those days are gone, literally just gone. Living alone, I think of all the friends I've known, but as I dial the telephone, nobody's home. All by myself, don't want to be all by myself anymore.
Simon Sujuwan there, folks. And thankfully, he is socially isolating. And I'm Richard Green, and we're the goodies. How do you do? We've just been to the zoo. We saw a monkey dance in a cage, doing a dance. It could be the rage. It's not so hard. Let's all do the funky gibbon. Ooh, 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 the funky gibbon. Ooh, 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 the funky gibbon. We're here to show you. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Come on, do it. Do it now, the funky gibbon. tribute there, a bad tribute, to the late lamented Tim Brooke Taylor, who, as we remember, was part of the comedy trio who made up The Goodies, which never made it to America, but I think is very big in Australia.
Really?
Yeah, it's huge. They still show The Goodies in Australia. They don't show The Goodies in the UK. I loved it as a kid. Anyway, this is Car-Boyz. There we go.
On screen.
On the screen for the first time ever, which is an amazing thing. I'm gonna do my clapperboard again because it needs to get some use. 40th episode of Car-Boyz, and the first one we've televised. Now it's time for me to get on my high horse and ascend the soapbox in the speaker's corner. That is the show, part of the show, and it's Richard's rant. I generally moan like a whinging pom that I am about one subject or another. And this week I've decided to target all my bile upon the general public. Yes, the great unwashed out there, some of which probably almost certainly constitute our audience. Now, last week I was moaning about the coronavirus, or as we have dubbed it here on the show, Corona-19. Well, just to update you on the show, even less people are socially isolating, even though the stats for infection here in the UK are going through the roof. But never mind, companies are greedy and people are desperate for work. As I mentioned last week, the TV broadcaster I work for has the lowest level of security in the world. And it's gotten worse. Since last week, when I was checking into security, I've signed in under the names of Miles Davis, Bon Scott of AC/DC, Brian May of Queen, and this week I've been John Mills, Sir Alec Guinness, and Dirk Bogarde, he of the Blue Lamp, and Dixon of Dock Green, and Death in Venice fame. The same security guard just smiles and waves me through. Instead, this week on the show, I shall be moaning about receiving a notification for a driving offence, of which I shall not mention, where instead of receiving a ticket and points on my licence, I shall have to go to a horrible 3-star hotel conference room for a 4-hour seminar on how I was a bad man and broke the traffic laws. Rather strange, as there's no traffic on the roads. I know, I did a bad thing, and I'm sure I should pay my dues, but what I object to is that this is all about revenue raising for the police. Yes, I went a few miles over the speed limit, or alternatively, I may have jumped a red light, or I mowed down some pedestrians. No, only joking about the latter. But what specifically we are doing on the show is saying to the police who dole out these fines and points, we're saying good job and get more people like this to raise more funds and more revenue for the constabulary, and eventually we'll get more promotions and increased salary and more benefits. It's a bit like an estate agent trying to sell more houses. Well done, here's more commission. But this person is a police officer, not a sales rep. They should be rewarded for doing things as part of the wider community. They should be rewarded for, you know, helping people out. My 2 neighbours have just been broken into in the last year, and no, the police didn't turn up on their doorsteps. They just gave them a crime number so they can inform the insurance company, which signals to the police and themselves what matter is results. If you get a collar, then why bother doing anything else? Which is great for crime numbers solved, but not great when you only investigate the crimes where you've got a chance of solving them. So please, Mr. Policeman, maybe stop hassling the general public who occasionally break the law, but always pay your salary, and start targeting those who always break the law but don't give you a bean. Or maybe that's the problem with modern policing. I really miss Dixon of Dock Green. Hello. What's going on here then? Any thoughts, Simon?
I think you're absolutely right. I do think that they're just using it to make money. But what I think they should do is actually give you a simulator.
Ooh.
And instead of taking on the speakers, put you in the simulator and see what happens.
Possibly could happen. Oh, okay. That sounds like an interesting
dogs
one.
running out. Or test your reactions at speed.
Now, that would be good. But then if that was the case, then all of the elderly people that drive around my neighbourhood would all be banned because they have the reaction times of, well, let's say, an elderly person.
Yes.
I think that I see a fault in there. No, my main point is that my contacts with the police are very infrequent, but when I have them, they're always negative. They're always there, like my neighbour getting broken into, and me and another neighbour going round there, and the police saying, well, we'll just give you a crime number, we're not coming out. Or me being apparently 1.6 seconds while I was out, the light was very red.
In Formula One terms, that's like an eon.
Is Nigel Mansell in charge? Or Murray Walker? I should have had a moustache. I might have got away with it. Right, shall we do some news?
Yes, let's have some music.
Hang on, here's some news music. News. Go.
That is, of course. So you need the little box in the corner.
We need a ticker along the
With a
bottom as
picture of the
well.
car. First off, this week McLaren announced a son of the P1 news. McLaren has already started work on, quote unquote, the son of the P1 hypercar. That will be the next model in its Ultimate Series after the Elva. How unusual name, Squeamish Barchetta. CEO Mike Felwit has confirmed that you can expect to see the car in 2024 and it will be electrified either fully or hybrid. McLaren has already committed to an aggressive hybridization, didn't know that was such a word, of its lineup, with the plug-in hybrid replacement for the Sports Series coming first and then other models quickly following. It preceded that the P1 will use a split hybrid system with electrically powered front axle, the wheel will be powered by a regular petrol engine or a version of the hybridized V6 used by the new Sports Series. Although hybridization, is that really a word, hybridization?
Well, where I found it in the wide world of the news, it is, yes.
Okay.
It must
Will
be,
create
must be
both packaging and weight challenges for engineers. These are much smaller than those presented by the Make-in and EV because the battery will be significantly lighter and more compact. As the lower volume manufacturer, he says, our strategy is to build around one platform, said Mike Flewitt. He said, so we might need an EV platform for certain markets and a hybrid platform for other markets or sectors. He also admits that the UK government's proposal to bring forth a ban on the sale of new petrol and diesel cars for 2035, possibly even 2032, depending on what happens over the next few years, was a surprise and not particularly a nice one. It does look pretty good. We'll get to that in a minute. McLaren will join other car makers in lobbying for hybrids to be excluded from the ban, but also that it wouldn't be necessary spell the end for non-electric McLarens. It is a beautiful car.
Yeah.
However,
go on.
I'm slightly worried about McLaren.
Yes.
Because they seem to have lots of products with very short shelf lives. And the last manufacturers that I could think did that were Lotus, and as we said off air, the
TVR was firing them out like hotcakes. Different models. Now you look at the company in the UK, the only company in the UK which can trace its lineage back pre-World War II. Okay, you got Rolls-Royce. Okay, you got Bentley, you got Jaguar. Those companies did exist, but the company that's remained in its essence is Morgan. And Morgan effectively make the same car. They make the same car in 1934 that they do now. I think even to the effect that it's still got the wooden frame.
It has, yeah.
It's the same car. They're still
going.
going
The opposite way and having lots of variations of the same vehicle. So you've got the long tail, you've got the short tail, you've got the buff tail.
That's right.
Call them. So I'm worried for them. I think they should actually concentrate on just one specific model rather than several models.
I think that would be, yes, definitely a very good thing. But let's have another quick look at it. If they do produce this, I shan't be in the market to buy one, but that looks nice.
It does. Although that said, front looks very much Ferrari, Lambo, child.
I like the fact they've put it in a desert setting, which is basically where most of these are going to end up.
Just green screen. That's all it is.
That is going to end up, yeah, well, of course, but they're all going to end up with the Arabs. Yes, it's Woking, really, but they just green screened some sand in. So Mr. Habib can imagine driving this around Dubai. I'm just saying. Yes, that's it. And moving on, we said goodbye to a legend this week. Sterling Moss. Sir Sterling has passed away at the age of 90. Nothing to do with COVID. It's just apparently he had long illness. The dashing British motor racing legend passed away at his Mayfair home in London. The great motor racing driver had one of the most lionised figures in the history of British motorsport. He closed his eyes in the early hours of Easter morning. Lady Moss, his wife, was at his bedside as he died, having nursed him through illness at their central London house. Now, Moss's passing was the result of a chest infection he caught in Singapore. Chinese link there, just before Christmas 2016, and there's no indication that it was due to the coronavirus. Moss's fame was secured in the years after the Second World War, with his style and skill earned him acclaim as the greatest all-round racer. His versatility won him 212 of his 259 races in every conceivable type of car. Now, he famously never won the Formula One title, but owing to his preference for British machinery and acts of conspicuous sportsmanship that denied him the chance. He would rather win a race than play the percentages for the stake of the title, unlike many Formula One drivers today. Between 1955, shall we just say, Lewis Hamilton. Between 1955 and Hamilton. Between 1955 and 1961, he was championship runner-up on 4 occasions and 3 times. Among Moss's greatest victories were the 1961 Monaco Grand Prix, in which he triumphed in his Lotus against faster Ferraris, and the 1955 Miglia, where he set a new course record in the famous 1,000-mile race around Italy. Moss's career at the top level of motorsport came up to an end in 1962 when he was effectively forced to retire following a crash at Goodwood that left him in a coma for a month and partially paralysed for 6 months. Stylish, debonair, brave, he kept 2 books of cuttings at his Mayfair house, one of motor racing and the other of crumpet, which for our listeners not living in 1958 and in the UK means the ladies. He did like the ladies. Commentator and Formula One racing driver Martin Brundle said, "R.I.P. Sterling Moss, a mighty racer and a gentleman. He had a press-on style on the track and in life. He was remarkable." Why was he such an important figure, do you think? Because he's absolutely iconic, and he hasn't raced for almost 60 years. Yeah, he retired.
I think it was more his style of driving that won him so many fans. But the other thing was, I think, although he didn't do competitive races, he was still racing cars round tracks and display and things like that. So right the way to the end, he was still driving sports cars and racing cars.
Yeah.
And a lot of historic cars as well that he was driving around. So yeah, very important.
I have a memory of him in 1980s driving a Sinclair C5. They got him to test drive one, and I didn't think he definitely wasn't doing it for Sinclair. If you remember the C5, it was a tiny go-kart like machine that was electric.
It was like a vacuum. Was it made in a vacuum cleaner factory as well?
I think it looked like a vacuum cleaner on its side. And you got in it, but you were only about 2 foot off the well, your head would have been 2 foot off the ground. Your arse was literally dragging on the ground, and it was electric. And you drove it with some sort of handlebars between your legs. And this definitely wasn't a promotion for the company, because they asked Sterling Moss, "Would you like to do this?" And he said, "Yeah." And he got in it and he drove it around the block, and they had some nice pictures of him. And then they said, "What do you think of it?" He said, "Absolute death trap." He said, and you're at the trucks can't see you, lorries can't see you. You're at the same height as the exhaust pipe at the bottom of most cars. He said, "What a terrible car." And that was it. It was like if Sterling Moss says it's bad, I'm not buying that.
And of course, the C5 was named after its inventor, Clive. It was called the Clive 5.
The Clive 5. What? Oh, was that why it was called the C, after Clive?
Oh, yeah, that's what it was. Yeah.
Clive Sinclair. He also liked the ladies, apparently, allegedly. Right.
Moving on. And in more good news for the motorists, despite the coronavirus, or the Cortina virus that we like to put on the show, the UK government has extended the period in which the public can have their say on plans to end sales of new petrol, diesel and hybrid cars and vans by 2035, or earlier, as part of an open consultation, if you believe that. The online consultation process was originally due to close at the end of May. However, that end date has now been extended to the 31st of July, likely to prioritise dealing with the coronavirus pandemic. Probably the reason why. Prime Minister Boris Johnson, before he ended up in hospital, announced plans in early February as part of an initiative for the UK to reach a net zero carbon emissions by 2050. The government wants to bring forward a planned ban on the sale of petrol and diesel engine vehicles from 2040 to 2035 or earlier if a faster transition appears feasible. Transition periods not very good, are they? and
No.
expand it to include all non-zero emission cars and vans. That means the ban will include hybrids and plug-in hybrids, or vehicles as we like to call them, which would have been allowed under the original plans. The proposals have a mixed response from sectors in the motoring industry, with the Society of Motor Manufacturers and Traders calling them extremely concerning, and Ford's European boss Stuart Rowley saying that they were not helpful. In particular, government is asking for input on the phase-out date, the definition of what should be phased out, and barriers to achieving the proposals. It has also asked respondents to consider both the measures required by the government and other groups to achieve the earlier phase-out date and the impact of these ambitions on different sectors of the industry and society. Details on where to submit feedback to the proposals are available on the UK government website, which, if you didn't know, is at www.gov.uk/government/consultations.
Yeah, we want everybody to go, even if you don't live in England, please go on and just say no to this. www.gov.uk/government/consultations. I'm not sure whether it'll register your IP address, but just get on there and say no. It is, look, I think electric cars have a purpose in reducing emission levels in cities, right? But they're not carbon neutral because they still use electricity, which still comes out of a wall. And as we said 2 weeks ago on the show, if everybody had an electric car, 20 Wembley stadiums would be full of dead batteries every week. 20. So you could create a car that drives on petrol that will be around in 100 years. You cannot create an electric car that will be around in 100 years. The technology isn't there yet. It's going to be there. It's not going to be there in 15 years. Give us 50 years. 50 years, and this is not going to be a problem. We're all going to have electric cars eventually. But you also got to work out how to produce green electricity. And seeing that I haven't come up with nuclear fusion, sorry, let me get it right. Nuclear fusion is not being created. It's fission. Fission is the dirty one. Because my physics teacher always taught me about fish and chips are quite dirty. He did. He used to say, just think fish and chips. So fission is the dirty one. Fusion is creating the heat of the sun without using the same amount of heat to create that. Now, they haven't come up with that. If they have, which they probably have, in America, somebody is sitting on it and not letting us all know. So, yeah, just please vote no to this. It's going to happen. Fine. It ain't going to happen by 2035. Finally, I've got some more coronavirus news for you. Vauxhall boss Stephen Norman believes the UK virus's lockdown is encouraging car buyers to embrace a new phone-based direct sales system his company is rushing to put into place. He's confident it will remain effective long after business returns to normal. Norman is so passionate about the new project, he's currently spending 2 hours a day personally answering phone calls from potential new Vauxhall customers. The company, he totally is. The company currently has roughly 1,200 cars in the pipeline, 12,000 cars in the pipeline between production and line and dealer. A figure he said is unusually low. Well, you can't go anywhere. You can't drive anywhere. Half of us can't go to work. It's not like I'm thinking about buying a new car. I flipping washed mine the other day. I haven't done that in 6 months. I was really bored. Norman believes the new trend won't make dealers irrelevant, but it's likely to threaten the cost base of what he terms gin palace dealerships, which he reckons are already on overtime. Great for everybody that works in the car industry. He says the eventual return to normal social values put extra focus on what he claims is a recent society-wide overconsumption of premium products and values. Hang on, don't you want to sell cars, mate? I'd keep that quiet. Before the epidemic trend, this trend had already arrived in the food and clothing industry. I think it's coming in the car industry. For this reason, Norman forecasts increasing relevance and the bold Brit plan. He's launched Vauxhall's new advertising and marketing campaign featuring post-Brexit slogan, New Rules Britannia, which was just beginning to benefit Vauxhall sales, especially in light commercial vehicles, when the epidemic hit. A good story, apart from the fact that Vauxhall is owned by the PSA Group, and they effectively, so every single Vauxhall that you buy is effectively a Citroën Peugeot made in Liverpool, sheep in sheep's clothing, I would like to call it. I
in
do.
fact, nicknamed Mr.
I,
Newman.
I will. You're going to have to turn your mic up, by the way. I think your mic is quite low. Or get
Oh,
closer
okay.
to your PC. What? I will buy a pair of trousers off Amazon or other online stores are available. I would not buy a car just down the telephone or online. I want to see the thing. I want to have a good look at the thing. I want to test drive the thing. I want to see if I can get free car mats when I buy the thing. Which was all. Can I get some free
Always
car
call that.
mats?
Yes.
And I want to do a deal. The place I'm buying cars at the moment is a massive warehouse in West London, where they have the last car I went to buy was a Jazz. It wasn't for me; it was for my mother, and I had a choice of 10. And I drove the 2 I liked, and then I chose one of those, and I got a pretty good deal on it. All I'm saying is this is how people want. I agree with him that most car showrooms are ridiculously over the top, but some people like that. I mean, it's called not everybody's like you and me, and we're sort of bottom end motoring guys, and we quite like the rough and ready nature of buying cars. A lot of people want to go and get a good car, but I think you want to go and have a look at it, and certainly
Yeah.
test drive it.
Yeah, absolutely. You want to. It's got individual quirks on certain cars that you just want to try out. So I can't see you just doing it completely online. Do I sound a lot louder now?
You do sound louder. You sound a little muffled. I think you might want one of these in future for the next episode.
Might do that, yeah.
Or I could give you one of these. Hang on, we've got one of these.
I've got a mic somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah, I think a mic would be better.
Yeah.
From above or below. That was the way Lemmy used to sing before he died. Or you could have the mic, or you could whiz it round like what's his name out of the Who? Roger Daltrey.
Yeah.
You could.
Well, I can sweat it around,
You've got the same. You've got the same haircut as no, you've got the same haircut as Paul Rogers. Allegedly.
Yeah, well,
Allegedly.
Now I've got more hair.
You've got more hair than Paul Rogers. Well, more of your own hair anyway. Right, I think it's time for me to strike up. The band have just walked in. They've been self-isolating with me since this started. For 3 weeks living with a jazz band has not been good. You ready, boys? Go on. They're good, aren't they? Yeah, that's it. Hey. Yeah. All right, shut up. Thank you. Nightmare. Never self-isolate with heroin-taking jazz guys. They just won't. Shut up. That's better. Right, there we go. Right, last week it's a classic car selection. That's what that music means, doesn't it? Yes. Last week we're in Italy, and we're back in Italy. And we say ciao bella to an iconic Italian sports car that was produced for almost 20 years. We're talking about the Fiat 124 Sport Spider. It was a Pininfarina designed, an open-topped addition to the Fiat range, taking over from the slow-selling 1500S Cabriolet. Little did the company know how long-lived and popular it would prove to be over the years, being a Pininfarina designed car, and knowing that Design's house predilection to recycle its designs. It was no surprise to see it using any further Ferrari styling cues. It was a great drive. It helped great performance by Fiat's excellent twin cam engines. All of them are left-hand drive, and around 85% of them were sold in America, although upwards of 1,500 have been imported into the UK over the years. As with the 124 Coupe, the first and last are the most popular with collectors, pre-1975 cars having injected 2-litre engines, with the final 2 years production also running including a fast supercharged Volume X version. From 1982 to 1985, complete production passed to Pininfarina, and it ceased being sold as a Fiat, changing its identity to the Spider Europa, a good alternative to the MGB and the Alfa Romeo Spider, and it's better to drive than both those cars. So what to look for when buying one of these thoroughbred Italian classics? Well, with any classic car, buy the best one you can, find and join your local owners club. All of these are soft tops, so make sure the roof is in good condition. It doesn't leak. A key to this is smelling the inside of the car. If it smells like a wet dog, don't buy it, just walk away. Bodywork is another biggie. They don't rust-proof any cars at the factory. So you need to check the wings, the floor panels, the bonnet, or as you say in America, the hood, inside the boot or the trunk, But to be honest, these things are so prone to rust. A bad one will already be showing telltale signs of metal fatigue. Now, basic checks are needed on the engine. Look under the oil cap for mayonnaise. A sure sign the head gasket has blown and the water is getting in. Also check for knocking sounds and blue smoke from the exhaust. Which one to buy? Well, like a broken record, we've said it before and we'll say it again, buy the best you can. There is no point spending €2,000 on a wreck that will need 6 grand's worth of work and then be worth 6 grand. These cars were made by Fiat up to 81 when production switched to Pininfarina, and the cars we'd go for those are the ones we'd go for. The earlier models had the 1.4 engine are starting to get expensive. So early Fiats in the 60s don't go for Pininfarina cars. They've got the 2-litre engine, the Bosch fuel injection rather than the carbs, and better electrics, more attractive bright work, and most importantly of all, a 2-litre engine. Also, they're younger and they have less miles on the clock. Now, price-wise, you're better off getting this car from Italy. There's more over there. You've got more choice, and the weather is more suitable for a car that is prone to rust. 5 grand is going to get you an okay car, but with a few dents and scuffs and high-ish mileage that will need some work. But if you splurge up to around 10, you're going to get a clean car with a full service history, low mileage, A1 condition. A word of warning, though, don't be put off buying a left-hand drive car. These are fantastic cars. So anything in America, that's going to be right up your street anyway, or Europe. So why not say si grazie to a Fiat Sport Spider 124 and live la dolce vita. If you are in somewhere like Chicago or England, though, you're going to need a garage, and you're going to need a heated garage, because this thing will rust in 1 or 2 winters. It will be gone. It will be dust.
They are absolutely lovely cars, and I've said it before, Pininfarina now start styling the drinks machines at Burger King.
Really?
Yes.
They're just so desperate for anything.
I'm tempted to actually take the badge off, because they've got an actual Pininfarina badge on one of the drinks machines.
I just prize it off.
Yes.
And then you can super glue it to your Mini.
Just by the door sill, yes, that's what I do. But yeah, no, it's good. It's amazing. We always said, we don't usually go for Italian cars, but we've had quite a few Italian cars.
I know. I've got a thing about Italian cars. I think it's because I haven't been out for 3 weeks, and I want to see some sunshine. My dream would be, after the COVID-19 is ended, to just go around in my soft top Fiat 124. I haven't got a garage, and I think I would want a garage for this car, and I would want a heated garage for this car. I would also like it rust-proofed underneath. Under seal on it. Although under seal is a bit of you've got to be careful. What you really want, you've got to be careful with under seal. What you want is to have a good look exactly what you're buying. So if you're going to go down to Italy, get the carpets up, get a screwdriver, get a magnet, have a look in the boot, because if it's been shunted, that will show up there under the engine. With this car, the engines, the later ones, are really bulletproof, and 6 grand will get you an okay car. That's probably what I'd go for, but I'd get one from, even if you have to fly all the way down to Sicily, somewhere like that, get it from somewhere nice and dry. Cars in the UK, they only made brought 50. If you can even find any, because they only imported 1,500 of these.
I think the thing is, they're probably not cars being driven about in winter anyway, so they probably didn't suffer from salt corrosion.
Yeah,
it's just every time it rains, it'll probably fall apart.
Now, I don't have a photo. I have a. This is going to come up in the letters page. So I have a photo. This is the Seat version of the same car.
Oh.
So Seat also made this for a while. So maybe if you have a look see if you can get a Seat version of said car. Oh, hang on. I've got to get me the right music up now. Now, the jazz band, as we all know, are very good, but they're very multi-talented, and they can also do some country and western. Off you go, boys! That's it. Ooh-ha!
Of course.
How many people have got a string section?
Awesome.
They have to get rid of Corona soon. The lockdown, they are eating me out of house and home. Spending like £1,000 a week on heroin and talking to cigarettes.
That music, of course, signifies that it is time for our Lost Highway section of the show. Now, if you haven't had the show before, this is a feature where listeners email in and give us their favourite roads and the reasons why they love them. It could be a quite coastal road that leads down to the sea. Alternatively, it could be a straight 2-lane blacktop that leads to infinity and invites you to gun the pedal to the metal.
Oh, yes.
Whatever your problem is, let us know your perfect driving roads here on Car-Boyz. What is the contact details to get in touch with us?
Hang on a second. Yes, you can get in touch with Car-Boyz on the Tinterweb by emailing us car-boys with a Z at outlook.com. That's car-boys with a Z at outlook.com. Facebook, we're car-boys with a Z at Car-Boyz with 4 Zs. Twitter, we're car-boys with a Z at car_boys with a Z. And we're also on, what's the other one, Instagram?
Instagram, it's car_boys with 3 Zs.
3 Zs.
Is on there. Yes, so that's all the contact details, which a lot of people get in touch with us last week or so. So it's all good.
Yes.
Thank you if you've got in touch with us. First one comes from Kirsty2733. They emailed from Plymouth in Devon in the UK. She was born and raised in Scotland, a lovely part of the world, and hopes that she can get back up there in the summer. She says there's a great driving road from Scotland's second city, Glasgow, to Fort William in the Highlands. This breathtaking 140-mile road trip follows the A82 and takes you right up to the Scottish Highlands. A complete drive from Glasgow through Loch. I've learned how to say this in my recent trip. Loch Lomond, Glencoe, and then arrive into Fort William. Some of the most spectacular driving views in the UK, often called the gateway to the Highlands. It takes about 3 hours, which is not bad at all. But allow for much longer because you won't be able to resist the urge to stop off along the way to take in the amazing scenery. You can head northbound on the A82, and on that way you'll see Loch Lomond, Loch Ness, and Ben Nevis, the tallest mountain in the British Isles, if you didn't know. You'll also pass through the Tarbet, Carnarvon, Tintrum,
Good luck.
and Bannockmore.
Oh, yes.
Before we Glencoe. Then it's on to the south, Ballachulish.
Sebco's brother, Glenn.
Yes.
Yeah,
and Loch Leven, before following the banks of the Loch Lin Fort William. If you're from there, let us know. She said, beware of the snow and ice on the roads in the winter, but if you're going up there in the summer, take a convertible because the views are breathtaking. The real treat at the end of Ben Nevis, because of the Ben Nevis distillery, where you can quench your thirst with a few drams of the house stuff, which, if you don't know, it's Highland whiskey.
Okay. Yeah, have a few drams of that. That'd be nice.
So thank you for that.
Yeah, I only know how to pronounce Scottish names of whiskey. Not so Laphroaig, Ardbeg, Lagavulin, and you have to say in a Scottish accent, and Bowmore. Yeah, that's just my favourite. If you are listening to the show,
or watching for the first time.
Oh yeah, watching for the first time. This is amazing. I've got to stop saying listening. It's watching. We might go back to listening, depending on how successful this is. Ratings go down. I really don't want to see you two ugly mugs. I mean, you're looking a bit shiny. I'm looking a bit red.
Yeah, you're looking a bit red.
Oh, yeah, I don't know what that is. The sun. The sun in a bottle. Now, let's have another email from Tony M in Miami. Hey, glorious sister. She's locked down with a family and she decided to email the show and share one of her great driving roads. She's driven it in its entirety from the Pacific to the Atlantic. It's the I-10. The Trans-Interstate 10 serves the south tier of the United States between Southern California, the desert Southwest, and the southeastern United States, known as Christopher Columbus Transcontinental Highway. It stretches from Santa Monica, Los Angeles, through to Jacksonville, Florida. She recommends traveling from Miami further south, then hitting the I-10 at Jacksonville all the way to the party town of New Orleans, although not quite now. You won't be doing that. You'll pass through the great state of Miami before hitting the cities of Tallahassee and Pensacola, and then you cross the state line into Alabama. Yeehaw! And you're seeing the city of Mobile, which was allegedly discovered 700 years ago by the Welsh. Welsh Prince
Interesting.
Maddox, she says. I didn't know about that. Long before there's lovely. Now along the coastline, there's some. That's my Welsh impression. There are some great beach resorts and fantastic seas. Effectively, you're in the North Caribbean Sea. I never thought of it like that. Finally, you're going to hit New Orleans, famed for the music and the booze and the Mardi Gras. And we all love a bit of Mardi Gras. Just before you get into New Orleans, she recommends stopping off at Honey Island Swamp, where you can take a boat trip through the bayou and see some gators and people without teeth. And she says,
Is it like Gentle Ben?
Gentle Ben. Yeah, I think so. Was Gentle Ben set in the Florida Everglades or the Everglades?
Yes, it was. Yeah,
or the bayou? Oh, I see. She said, "What's its brother? Richie from Happy Days. Ron Howard's brother played Gentle Ben. Yeah, there you go. You learn something new every day. It's not just cars here." She says, driving the I-10 is pretty easy, so try and get off the main highway and check out some of the back roads and stunning coastal lanes where you'll see lots of rednecks. No, she didn't say that. But she said it sounds like a great route. I've always wanted to do that. That would be my drive in America. I know everybody wants to do the Pacific Coast Highway, the PCH, from, I guess, San Diego all the way up to Seattle.
Is that Route 69? Route 66. Sorry.
No, Route 66. Yeah, Route 66.
That's
69. that's if you're living on your own at the moment, that's a route you're not going to be enjoying. And if you're married, that's also a route that you rarely enjoy. That's the one that Route 66 is the one that goes from the East Coast to the West Coast, which doesn't really exist anymore. But you can also do that. Yeah, if you want to get in touch and send us your lost highways, the usual apply. It's emailing car-boys, boys with a Z, at outlook.com, car-boys, boys with a Z, at outlook.com. We'll endeavour to put your lost highway on the map. You can also Facebook us, car-boys with a Z, at Car-Boyz with 4 Zs. Car-Boys with a Z, at car_boys with a Z is our Twitter account.
And our Instagram is car_boys with 3 Zs.
And it's now time to call out our guitarist, he's asleep in the corner, because it's time for your letters in the mailbag.
Playing this guitarist?
Oh, yes. Took me ages to learn that. Yes, it's time for your letters to be answered in the mailbag, which, as usual, is overflowing. Simon, you start off.
Absolutely. Our first one comes from Tammy Winsett.
No, Winsett. Winsett. It's like what they make pajamas out of in the 1960s. What did you say in America? Pajamas.
But they're from the Wirral, and they email, and she said she wants some advice about her rusty 2001 Toyota Corolla.
Of which we have a picture.
Not Corolla, 1.4. It was grandmother's car from new. Ooh, there it is. And it's done around 80,000 miles. There's rust appearing around 2 headlights. Not major, but it is annoying her. I hate this car. I shouldn't really say that, but I do hate that car.
Well, it's not it's a form of transport. Let's call it a form of transport, not a car. It is what you have there, Tammy Winsett, is a proper beta car, and it should be treated as such. The rust will be surfaced. That will not affect its ability to pass an MOT or drive on the road. It's annoying, but fixing rust behind headlights, I reckon, is going to cost you the best part of 400 quid. Even if you have one of these, I reckon so, because you've got to take the headlight out. You've got to mask up the whole area. If you did it yourself, I reckon you could do it for probably 50 quid. But if you took it to a garage, they'd ask you 400 quid, and the car's not worth 400 quid. If you're really bothered, you could take out the lights. You could do it yourself, basically. Rust kill the affected area, paint over it with touch-up paint. It won't look great, but it beats looking at rust if that's a... But how much do you care about this car? Let's have another look at it. Look at it. 500 quid car. Do you know what? This is the car that you park anywhere in the city. See, I park my really nice Honda. I don't park it anywhere. I park it far away from other cars. I don't want supermarket trolleys going into it. And when I get into work, Nice sign-in, sometimes as Alec Guinness, sometimes as Miles Davis, sometimes as Brian May. Hi, Brian. Then I park it in a nice place away from other cars. This car, I wouldn't give a toss. I'd go, whoop, oh, look, I've curbed it. Don't care, because it's probably not got alloy wheels.
Adds character.
Adds character. Dent it. Who cares? It is a beta car. Run this thing into the ground. Just run it into the ground. So that's our advice there. We're going another letter in the. This one is from. Let me have a look. A ruffle around in the mailbag. This is from Katie in Bournemouth. Writes to the show. She says she loves the program. She lives on the south coast of England, but her family own a small house in the French Pyrenees. Mais oui. They always rent a car from Toulouse Airport when they go to visit every summer. She sounds a bit rich. But her dad wants to spend more time there as he's French. Oh, that's why. So it's the family house. All right. We thought you were very posh then. So her question for Car-Boyz, is there a car they could buy which could live in a garage on the side of a mountain for the winter and they could start using when they go there for spring, summer? Is this possible? Are there alternatives? What do you think?
Usually we recommend Japanese because they're not going to use it very often. So something small than Japanese, possibly.
So we're looking at the starting off in say a father goes out there in March, say everything winds up and they think, well, we want to go back to England for Christmas in not really snowbirds like they've got in America, but he just wants to go to France. This is not really possible to leave a car on its own for 4 or 5 months and then put the key in and go straight off.
Not going to be good.
I'd find something easy to work on. Fiat Panda 4x4, new one. Cheap Japanese car, like you said. Suzuki, she said up the side of a mountain. So the Suzuki do the Ignis, which is all-wheel drive. If you've got to get them down mountains, you're going to need the 4x4. If you put this car away for winter, take the battery out or leave the battery on trickle. If you want to put the other thing is you've got to put the car on blocks to save the tyres. Don't engage the handbrake because the brakes are going to be seized. It's a bit of a nightmare. I have a friend of mine whose father owns a property in Cyprus, and he has got a friend out there. And what his friend does, his friend drives a car around for him for most of the year, and when he comes, he hands the car over.
Okay, yeah.
So his friend says, "I'll have free use of the car. We'll go halves on the servicing of the car because the guy is not over there from October through to March, but come March, I want the car back." And then his friend gives him the car. So your car is constantly being used. And all right, you're going to put mileage on the car. And that's what he does. And I think before that, he used to have a really good deal where he hired a car. So because he would hire it for so many months, it's effectively like turning it into a lease car. My personal opinion and personal thing I would do is get the car and get somebody like a friendly neighbour. If he's French as well, friend of your dad to drive round in the car for you.
Off a few bottles of wine,
Yeah, and especially if you have a car like this, you're not really going to care about it, are you? That would be yeah, you could. Hey, Tammy Winciette in Liverpool. Do you want to get rid of it? Because there's a French person that that says, "Oh, I'm being joined by somebody in the studio." Can you close the door? Oh, okay. Thanks, mate. Yeah, that's my executive producer. He's just coming. He's a midget. Just coming in to check on me. Thank you. Very high voice. Now staying with horrible cars. We've got an email from a horrible car.
We have Toyota Corolla. Emails straight from Toronto, Canada. That's Corona.
Corona. Yeah. Is he viral?
Yes. Gets around a lot. He is thinking about buying a 3-litre Honda V6 Accord Coupe. Would this make for a good commuting car? 40 miles per day. It's a 2001 model with low mileage. I would say at the moment, fuel prices are quite low, I think, globally.
Very low. We're looking at £1 in the UK at the moment, so it's like $1.10. And even outside of that, where is he? He's in Canada. I think fuel prices are going down. Yeah, I mean, a 3-litre. I've got a Honda Accord, not the 3-litre coupe, but the mileage is, even for British prices, it's not. It's not an expensive car to drive around at. They sort of these waft these cars. You want long, straight highways, probably going to snoot Canadian straight roads. The 3-litre engine is a 195 bhp, 0 to 60 in 7.5. It's a cheap runabout car. It is a bulletproof engine. So it's the VTEC engine, I believe, with twin camshafts. They never had a recall on these engines. They're bulletproof. It's likely to have been driven by somebody that did long mileage because it's a big 3-litre car.
Cruiser?
Yeah, go for it. Why not? I mean, you can't go wrong. I mean, look, Tammy Winsett didn't go wrong. And look at that.
Still going strong.
Still going strong. So he's called Toyota Corona, but he wants a Honda V6 Accord Coupe. I'd go for it. Why not? Finally, we have Alvin in Spain, not part of the Chipmunks. He's locked down in Costa del Sol, bored out of his mind, but this pandemic has got him thinking. He thinks he'd like to buy a small classic 2-seater sports car for southern Spain. He said he's going to do it now or never. Something from the 1960s or 70s. So we said before, classic British sports cars include the MGB GT. Triumph TR6 is a lovely car. But we had a thought about, you could buy the Fiat 124, as I did earlier on the show. But you're in Spain, so why not go for a Seat? They had a partnership with Fiat in the 60s and 70s, which produced some amazing little cars, such as the Seat 600, which was the cousin of the Fiat 500. They also had a version of the 850 Spider, which looks like this. Yay. Very, very period. Cheaper than the Fiat. The Seat 850 Spider has under 1 litre, it's 850cc engine, ergo the name. But it looks slightly more stylish than the Italian version, also cheaper. We found an A1 car, I think it was this one, it's 50 on the clock in Malaga for €4,800.
Well, that's not bad at all.
So that's been kept in Spain. It's got, if you buy an MG or a Triumph, it's likely to come from over here and it'll be full of bloody rust. This thing isn't. This is in Spain, and this is going to be an absolute corker of a car, an absolute corker. Plus, it's Spanish. It's Seat. So what does that mean? Yeah. It means everybody knows how to work on them because Seat is a Spanish brand. So, yes, we thoroughly advise you to go for that.
And I like that one in a nice, luminous, yellowy green.
It is very... That's very 1960s, isn't it? Late 60s, early 70s. I bet if you drug tested that car, it'd be full of cocaine and marijuana and people's DNA.
And if you lick the paint, you'll probably get lead on it.
Oh, yeah, there's all sorts going on with that bad boy. I love it. Fantastic. Yeah, go and get one of those. Thank you for your letters. If you want to get in touch with us, it's the same as usual. It's outlook.com. Car-Boyz, boys always with a Z, at outlook.com. Car-Boyz, boys with a Z, at outlook.com. We will endeavour to get in touch and also, help you out, give you some advice. Would you like some game show music?
Yes, please.
They just sort of, did you like that? Hey. Go.
Start. Oh, funky.
All right, enough. It's time for the game show. What have we got this week?
It's time for the quiz. As you may or may not know, we do things with cars right. We can coach build. We can produce great handling cars. We drive on the correct side of the road. We do so many things right. But this week's quiz concentrates on our language, which is English. There are many terms our friends across the water use differently to us. So, for example, if we say pavement, the Americans would say
sidewalk.
Like our favourite South African TV show host, where we'll give you a chance to go for a P-Bob, we'll give our contestant Richard from South West London. Hello, Richard.
Hi. All right.
We will be giving you a definition, and all you have to do is tell me what the word or the words are.
Okay.
It is. So, are you ready?
Yes, ready to go. Bob.
Fantastic. So, question number one. What word beginning with S would describe a four-door car like the Cortina? We'd call it a saloon, but the Americans would call it a what?
A sedan.
Absolutely right. Correct. Bing. Right answer. Yes, the Americans would call our saloon cars sedans. So well done then. Question number two. In America, a big Volvo with an extra bit on the back would be described as a station wagon. What word beginning with E is the correct British term?
Well, it'll be like the place I come from, the estate.
Bing is the right answer. It is a mistake. Yes, Americans call it a station wagon. So there you go. Let's start. Let's get in. We'll still do some easy questions. In this country, most of our engines are found at the front of the car under the bonnet. What H is the American word for bonnet?
That, of course, would be hood.
Is the right answer. 3 out of 3. Well done. Okay. Question number 4. When I hear a noise in my rear end, it's usually my exhaust. But what M is the American term for silencer?
Yeah, I always find this really rude. I always think it sounds like something like a lady's private parts, but they call it a muffler.
They do, and of course,
it's insane.
the muffler is always good to be attached to my rear end.
Yes.
So,
have
well
a
done.
play around with there's something wrong with my muffler. I've been telling you that for years, sweetheart. Go on. Yes.
Question number 5. In this country, the big orange lights on the side of the car are called indicators, unless you're an Audi driver because you don't know what they are. What 2 words in America do they use for indicators? Give me a clue. 2 words that begins with a T.
One of the 2 words. Tail lights?
Oh, nearly. It was turn signal.
Oh yeah, yeah. They're literal people, aren't they?
Yes, absolutely. So your first incorrect answer.
Damn.
So 4 out of 5. Question number 6. The tube attached to your suspension is called a shock absorber. But what D is it in America? Shock absorber. We call it shock absorber. The Americans call it.
Oh, hang on.
D.
You know? Something beginning with D. Bob. No, go on. It's not beginning with D.
It is beginning with D.
Oh. No, go on. I don't know.
It's damper.
No, I've never got that. Yeah, no. I do sometimes watch American car programs and go, what is he referring to?
There, you know, it shows educational as well as
it is. It's dampers. Yeah,
question number 7. If we have a car which has a manual transmission, we call it the gear shift. But what 2 words is it known stateside? Give you a clue, it's the same initials as me, SF. We call it the gear shift.
Oh, I know this one. I should know this one. It's not the gear shift selector.
Ooh, it's stick
shift. Stick shift. Damn. Stick shift.
So there you go. Question number 8. When learning to drive, we're taught that the pedals are A, B, C: accelerator, brake, and clutch.
Yeah.
What is the accelerator known as in America?
Accelerator.
Step on the
gas.
Yeah, gas pedal. Yeah, absolutely
gas
right.
pedal. Yeah.
Question number 9. When it gets cold, we reach for a pair of gloves from our glove box.
Yes.
What is it called in the US? Slightly harder, this one.
Oh, they don't call it the glove box, do they? They must think I really do think Americans think we all go around with top hats on. Oh, it's my glove box. My driver always puts it in there. What do they call the glove box in America? With the gun, it's the gun box. That would be sort of appropriate. They don't call it the glove.
It's like a little. What do you call a little bear? Little bear would be called a
cub.
Yes, so it's a
cubby box.
Yeah, cubby hold. That's what it's called. Yes,
cubby hold.
They call it cubby hold.
Oh, so they store they store their guns in the cubby hold. It sounds cuter than glove boxes, really. When was the last time you put a pair of gloves into a glove box? When? Never. I'm guessing yours contains the sat nav, probably the service manual, a tin of touch-up paint, maybe a packet of sweets. In your case,
mine has
condoms.
The MP3 accessory.
Excellent.
Plus MP3 too.
Okay.
Hand sanitizer.
Well, a must at the moment.
And and a cloth to wipe the windows down.
Okay. Oh no, mine has got one of those. It's got a little spongy one with covered in chamois leather, or as they say in America, or say in England, chamois leather. As we say in America, chamois. Sorry, carry on.
There
Is
you
that
go.
it?
And last question, number
Cool.
10. At the front and rear of the car, we have
Yes.
the wing, the front wing and the rear wing.
Oh.
Also, a brand of guitar. What do the Americans call this?
They call it, because they get into them all the time, they call them a fender bender. A
It's
fender.
500. So,
What about
yes, this
six
week
now?
you win some fresh air. That's what you win.
Oh, yeah, I've always wanted to win fresh air. Right now, it's what I'm really after. That and the ability to go to the pub. Oh, I'm missing the pub. I don't even go because obviously, you see, my manager, the little blonde one, doesn't let me go to the pub very often. I've got people that live with me that are very small and they won't let me go to the pub. But I'd so love to go to the pub, and we reckon that's going to be about September now, don't we?
Probably.
I'm going to go to bed tonight and dream about being in the pub.
Good time.
I think so. Right, that's about it from us. That's it from the show. If you want to get in touch with the Car-Boyz, we are on the email address is car-boys, boys always with a Z, at outlook.com. Car-boys, boys with a Z at outlook.com. We will endeavour to answer your questions, be they car-related or not. Facebook, car-boys, at Car-Boyz with 4 Zs at the end. Twitter, car-boys, at car_boys with just the 1 Z at the end. And I believe we're on Instagram. The band are a bit loud. And we believe we're on Instagram as well, aren't we?
_boys, boys with 3 Zs.
That's it from the show. Thank you. Have fun staying indoors.